Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So crypto carnage is upon us as Bitcoin has finally decided to take a giant dump to the downside and is literally dragging the rest of the market with it. The question is what does this mean for the stronger performing alts such as Theta? Is this going to create a buy the dip scenario in the short to mid term, or is this going to turn into a greater correction that plays out over a longer period of time? I'm going to pull up these charts and show you some key areas that I'll be paying attention to. Alright, Theta up on the daily chart. But before we begin with Theta, we must turn our gaze to Bitcoin because as we all know, when Bitcoin dumps, it usually drags the alts with it. So let's get a beat on what Bitcoin is up to here. Now, some people had this plotted in likely as a symmetrical triangle, but there's also a descending triangle present as well between this downsloping resistance and as well as this horizontal liquid zone right here. Either way, Bitcoin getting a daily candle body closure around the $31,000 mark resolves both of those patterns to the downside on a confirmation basis. Now, if that is to be the case in the next 2.5 minutes, probably before I'm done shooting this video, I think follow through is likely down to at least the 55 exponential moving average, coming in around the $28,500 mark. Perhaps a small bounce there, bringing Bitcoin back up to retest the bottom side of this liquid zone around the $32,000 level before some continuation to the downside. However, if Bitcoin decides to move like a freight train, then likely it's going to come down to the 89 exponential moving average, which is also in confluence with the top side of this liquid zone. So somewhere between 24,500 and 25,000, which is likely a tradable bounce at the very least, and perhaps that could be a reversal area as well from this carnage. Now, Bitcoin would have to do plenty of more damage than this for me to be convinced that the bull market is over and we're all going to die. I always keep it in the back of my mind that when Bitcoin decides to correct, it can be nasty, even under bullish conditions. It's not unusual for Bitcoin to do 40% corrections, as crazy as that might sound. That is kind of just the way this works in cryptocurrency land. This is also coming in on very strong volume, engulfing the last several days of volume read and all oscillators under pressure, rhyming with each other and nose diving. So this to me is very legit, and it's been a long time coming. I mean, Bitcoin's had a really good run for quite some time, and typically this is what you want to see for Bitcoin to continue its run. Like if you're targeting $100,000, $200,000 Bitcoin, then this is likely very healthy for the market. So at this point in time, I'm not pooping my pants as I'm used to these kinds of things. I've been trading crypto for a long time. I was here through the 2017 bubble. And I just always kind of have this in the back of my mind. And of course, I have these notable areas marked out in my chart in order to manage my risk and protect myself and manage my stop losses under these certain conditions. So let's get back onto Theta, because what does this mean for Theta? Well, so far, I gotta say, Theta is holding up quite well. For those of you that have been following along with my videos, you know that I've had these liquid zones plotted out for quite some time. And right now, it's testing the top side of this liquid zone right here. That comes in around $1.73. This liquid zone up here has a bottom side coming in around at $2.40. And to me, these liquid zones are mapping out the overall greater macro range on the daily. So long as Theta stays within this range on daily candle body opens and closures, then I still just see this as overall consolidation in a massive range, however, but on a daily chart, and daily charts do take a long time to play out. Now, it does look like Theta is about to close that candle in 3, 2, 1, and it has confirmed a daily candle body closure below the 10, 21, and 30, and that is not the greatest thing in the world, as you guys know. I do like to see assets at the very least closing daily candle bodies and opening them above the 21, so I'm going to be looking at this as some sell pressure now being applied to Theta, and Theta could re-enter this range down below here. However, I'm not throwing the towel in on Theta, not becoming a Theta bear, as Theta is going to have to do a lot more damage than this before I would be looking at this chart from bearish bias. However, there could be some more corrective behavior on the horizon. Of course, that's going to be heavily dependent on Bitcoin and whatever news is driving this right now. I haven't even taken the time to look into that, as usually when I'm looking at charts, I can get a pretty darn good feel as to what's happening out there. Now, charts are not the driving force of an asset, but for me, charts are there to be interpreted as to kind of what the sentiment is between the buyers and sellers, and that's where a chart for me cuts out the noise, and I'm able to look at it and get a gauge as to what's happening, as well as plot my next moves. Now, if Theta does get below the bottom side of this liquid zone here, coming in at about $1.67, then obviously be re-entering this range here. And a notable area to pay attention to for me is going to be this horizontal here, coming in around $1.54. And I see that the 55 exponential moving average is moving into confluence there. When I look left way back over here, I see that the 55 moving average was able to scoop Theta up on an overall greater pullback. So I do think that there's at least going to be a bounce there, of course, depending depending on Bitcoin. If Theta does bounce, there's likely a back test of the bottom side of this liquid zone coming in at the $1.67 mark, and then we'll have to see if Theta can get back up above that, assuming it even gets down there in the first place. Now, if Theta pops back up in here, I mean, bull market's still very much on. Like I was saying before, Bitcoin and Theta would have to do plenty of damage to get me freaked out that there's overall bearish, like an overall macro bearish bias on this whole ordeal. Now, if Theta does close any daily candle bodies below this horizontal here and below that 55, then likely a test of this liquid zone here, and this liquid zone top side coming in around $1.35, and the 89 exponential moving average is coming into confluence with this zone here, and the 89 can also be an area of interest, and being that it's confluent with that liquid zone, likely a bounce at the very least. The oscillators, I don't even really need to cover, you guys, because they all look the same and they all look bearish. I mean, RSI nose diving below the exponential moving average, now getting a bad downslope. The bullish control zone was rejected on the stochastics, and now the stochastics are nose diving and are at the very least going to be coming into contact with the edge of the bearish control zone here, likely to get inside it. And the histogram on the MACD here is printing bar after bar of pretty solid negative momentum here. So there is some damage getting done here. Let's just see over the next few days, coming into the weekend. Let's see if there's any relief rally on the way, and let's see how things go into the trading week next week. Let's see if Bitcoin finds its footing, and then we'll be able to assess the data then and see what is happening from a price action perspective at that point in time. But yeah, this is just how things go within the cryptocurrency space. Altcoins are super duper volatile. That's why I like those daily candle body closures, and that's why you always hear me mentioning not just those daily candle body closures, but also followed with daily candle body opens after that. And that for me is an extra layer of safety for me to manage my risk, being that it's an altcoin and being that altcoins are very vulnerable to the price action of Bitcoin. Anyways, you guys, hopefully you're doing okay out there. Right now, at the time of recording, yep, this is nasty, it sucks, it's poopy, it's all those things, but until Theta does a lot more damage than this, the bullish trajectory is actually still intact. So let's just see how Theta can find its footing in the short to midterm. Anyways, you guys, thanks for coming by and checking out this video. Hope you guys are doing okay out there, and have yourselves a powerful day.